Hi guys, welcome to the third section of the bone rigging tutorial. What we're going to do in this section is we are going to skin our mesh to the bones. What I'm going to do, start off with this, is make sure that everything is unfrozen. And this is fine to me. I would like to keep it at ghost mode for now. I can still see what's going to happen with the mesh as we skin it to the bones. So, don't worry if your mesh is all one model, that's fine. It'll be something which we'll have to cover if you ask me in class or let me know. We'll also go through this anyway when we do some cat rigging. It's just the same process. So what I'm going to do in this tutorial is I'm going to select the bottom piece here. What we're going to do is add a skin modifier. Make sure you go to the modifier tab and then type skin. Here we go, skin. So what skinning does is that it tells the bone how much of each vertex of this model that bone can affect. So what we could have is, let's say for a character, you have your forearm bone and your upper arm bone. What you can do is say that maybe the top of your or the bottom of your bicep is slightly affected by the forearm. So what you can say is that has a 0.2 value. So the forearm bone affects the bottom of your bicep mesh vertices by 0.2. What we'll do is we'll get that more into that if you want to do a bit more characters. For now, it doesn't matter too much because what we're looking at here is an inanimate object. It's not going to be squashing, but the vertices aren't going to be stretching or moving around. They're going to be 100% affected by their bone. So what I'm going to do is make sure that with the skin added, I'm going to scroll down here. What you can do is hold down middle mouse button and drag, or you can scroll. The reason I think you should hold down middle mouse button and drag is so that you don't affect any of the settings inside of here. Sometimes there are settings or drop down lists inside of your modifier menu, such as here, where it can change some of the settings which you don't want to do. So as you can see here, I'm scrolling. It is changing this setting, unfortunately. So hold on middle mouse button and drag. You can see this bone section here. I'm going to click add. What I want to do is make sure what you can do is hold on control and shift and click this arrow here, and it drags out the whole hierarchy. I know that this bottom bit is going to be affected by the bottom bone. I'm going to go through the model, add a skin modifier, and make sure the correct bone is added to the skin bone section here. So I'm going to click bone top for this bit here. I'm going to go to the back and see these hinges. I'm going to add a skin. Something which a lot of people do is they'll select multiple sections of the model, then add a skin modifier. It's best not to do it. There can be problems caused by that, where it's more instanced rather than mirrored or copied and pasted. Sorry. So I'm going to select this skin. This is going to be the top. Select this one, skin. Add bone, top. I'm going to go to the front. Going to click this flap. Skin. Add bone. This one is the right. Make sure. Click this one. Already add a skin on this one. Add. This one, the left. I just need to make sure that's fine. Yep. Hey, click this one. Add a skin. Add bones. And this one will be the top. Oh, sorry, the bottom. If you do make a mistake, what you can do is click remove here, and that will remove the bone. Make sure the bone is highlighted. Add bone, and this will be the bottom. There we go. This should technically be our rig sorted now. What I'm going to do is make sure that everything is no longer in X-ray mode. And what I did then was I selected everything, turned it to X-ray mode, and then unturn it and makes everything set to the same X-ray mode. So now let's test our rig. So I'm going to press F4, just turn off wireframe mode. I'm going to move this section. Cool. We got a problem where I didn't skin something, so let's fix that. Click this, skin, add. I want this to be the left. The top. Bottom, add bottom. Always mistakes being made, but it's all about spotting these mistakes and understanding how to fix them. Skin, add, bottom. Hopefully, me going through some of these problems actually helped because, of course, when I was trying to learn, it's best to not have a perfect tutorial. It's best to understand what problems could go on, could go wrong, and not have to find out and figure out how to solve those problems yourself, or having to do an extensive amount of research to find those problems using the forums on 3ds Max, or going through a bunch of tutorials from 2014. So hopefully those problems we come across in this tutorial has helped. But yeah, let's continue our rig. What I'm going to do is actually hide the bones. So because we think we're finished, we shouldn't want to see these bones. They are hiding the mesh in what the animation will look like. So I'm going to right click with them selected. What you can do is you can double click the top bit if you want, the parent, or you can just left click the parent, hold on shift and click the bottom bone. Right click, hide selection, or you can click this arrow icon here and that will do the same. What I'm going to do now is make a bit of an animation. Actually, you know, I'm not going to do anything right now. I'm just going to move this, make sure this is fine. Make sure this is fine. Make sure you control Z to move everything back. So that's rotating that way, that's fine if you want to do that, but this is what's more important to me, that it flaps open. And the final one rotates and flaps open. Cool. And what we can do is create a bit of an animation. So make sure these keyframes, you don't want to test your rig and then lose the position of your controls. Or else you'll have to re-rig or recreate your controls again, unfortunately. I'm just going to give everything a keyframe. What you can do is you press K as well if you want to set a key. Let's say 20 frames. I'm going to select both of these. If these aren't rotating together properly, just make sure that this section here is set appropriately. So if you turn off auto key, this one is the best one, whereas yours might be set to this one here. So select these, auto key, open up the suitcase, add a keyframe for this section here, and then have this rotate out. So now, there we go, that's fine. And if you really want to check out your animation, just hide your controls. Press play, there we go. And that can be exported. The rig itself can be exported and placed into Unreal Engine with your animations on it. So what we've gone through is creating bones, making sure bones are oriented correctly, especially on something which rotates, such as these hinges here. So if I go forward now, they are rotating. If I go wireframe mode, you will see that they're rotating properly. They're not coming out of place down here. Same with the flaps as well here. They're rotating correctly. And we have gone through creating the control rig for the bones. And we have gone through skinning the mesh onto the bones. This is actually the same process you would use for making a character or something a bit more complex, such as mech or weapons. Obviously, it's the same process, but there can be complexities. There's different kind of rigs, so such as if you want to make a pivot, it might require a lot more work, and that's something which you can go through in a different tutorial where you use something such as a loop constraint with different kind of helper bones. But for simple, done well, this is all you need to know for creating a simple rig for a mesh. But also you could also use it to make a character rig for posing. Whereas you might need to add a bit extra bones for making it arcade accessible. Any questions, please let me know in class, or let your tutor know in class. Anything you would like to know about, that would be awesome, and I can make a tutorial on it. Please request that. And yeah, hopefully you've learned from that. And I will also make a written document for this kind of rig as well in the future. Yeah, goodbye.